For you to doubt your identity now will be to doubt every single moment God spoke to you. Let's talk about identity. If I asked you right now to pitch yourself in three words that define who you are, what will those words be? Salut les amours, hi, welcome to yet another podcast episode of That Christian Girl podcast. I am your host, Debbie, and I am so excited and so happy to be here with you today. If this is your very first time on this side of the internet, Karibu Sana, you have definitely stumbled upon a place on the internet where we keep it real, keep it relevant, but most importantly, keep it rooted in Christ. And if you've been vibing with me for quite some times, you know the vibes. God is good, life is hard, but we go through it one prayer, one scripture, and one very honest conversation at a time. Today, we're talking about identity. And before we continue, how exciting is this? We are starting we are officially trying video podcasts as well as the audio ones with my makeshift microphone. Funny thing is, for my birthday, I actually got a wireless earphone as one of the gifts I received. However, when I tried to use it, I realized that it was not compatible with my phone, which it was quite funny actually. And I actually wanted to make a podcast episode talking about how sometimes we look at things and then we see things and think that they're good for us or they are for us until we actually look closely and realize that, yeah, they're not compatible with us. They are not for us. So, yeah, but I hope this is kind of helping. As I have mentioned, we're talking about identity today. That is who we are, how we define ourselves, and what happens when we lose sight of that. When you think of identity, what comes to your mind? Because for me, identity is the things that define us. Well, according to me, that is. And lately, I have realized I have been asking this question because I have been feeling very purposeless and like I am just wasting my life. And I was like, Deborah, who are you? And the answer to that question really varies on whatever mood it gets me in. One day I can answer and say, I am the apple of God's eye. The other day I can answer and say, I am a depressed girl who hates life. The other day I can answer is, I am just a lover girl on this planet, And it varies and changes each and every single day. But I think that identity is the one thing that shouldn't have to change about us. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think like identity should be one of the constant things that we have in our lives so that when someone asks you, no matter what stage of life you are in, who are you, you can confidently stand and say, I am ABC. Think of it like an elevator pitch. Those people have 1 minute to pitch themselves to say who they are, and if they keep on changing what their product is at the different stages of that pitch, they will never advance forward. They will never move forward to the next stage. And I think it's very interesting when I think about it like that. So if I were to ask you right now who you are, what would you tell me? Who we are and how we define ourselves plays a very huge role in how we carry ourselves. For the last couple of weeks, I have been in a very dark situation, or rather dark hole, and it has been so hard. But the one thing that has helped me through that dark time is literally repeating to myself over and over that I am the apple of God's eye. Even when I don't feel it, I am the apple of God's eye. Even when I don't act like it, I am the apple of God's eye. And there will be time where I feel like I have been so distant with God, or I've been, you know too messy lately, and I'll shy away from it. But I have learned to go beyond that pride, because I feel like thinking you are too sinful for God to forgive you is pride. I just think it's pride. So I am learning to go past that and say, even in my mess, I am still the apple of God's eye. Even when I pull back, when I pull away, I am still the apple of God's eye. This is not to tell you go sin and believe God is with you. This is me telling you, do not let your situation shake your identity. Do not let the stage of life you are in shake your identity. And as a Christian, I strive to live a life that glorifies God and a life that reflects God. So everything I talk about, every decision, every single thing will somehow come back to Christ's character. And one of the characteristics about Christ that I love is nigga knew who he was. Like, he knew who he was. At the age of 11, he knew who he was, who he was. When he ran away from home to go chill in the tabernacles, he knew who he was. And I find it so beautiful that that is something we too can mirror, because when we lose sight of who we are, we give people we give people space and room to define who we are. If I, Deborah, do not know who I am, then I give you, a stranger, permission to dictate to me who I am. And I feel like that is why sometimes we let people's words get to us, because we're not fully in control of owning up our identity. Story time. Back in high school, I did not have the best time in high school. I was severely bullied. And one of the side effects that gave me is never really knowing who I am, which is kind of funny. And so recently, something kind of happened, and I was the discussion of a group. And it wasn't very kind the way I was being talked about, and that put me so down, and I started questioning myself and thinking to myself, like, am I a horrible person? Am I this and this? Am I this and this? And in the midst of all those thoughts, I stopped myself and I was like, for you to doubt your identity now will be to doubt every single moment God spoke to you, because God will speak to his children. Okay, God will only speak to his children. Wait, is that right? Anyways, yeah, and that kind of helped me reel myself back in. Every single time a thought will come, maybe they're saying this because it's who I am, maybe they're saying this because this is what they have seen about me. Like, it doesn't matter what people say about you when you already believe in who you are. I find it laughable how we tie our worth to what we do and what people say about us or how people see us, while in reality, your existence itself has meaning. You simply matter because you are. There's this quote that says, as a man thinketh, so is he. And I 100% believe in that. If you think you can do something, then you will strive to do that thing. If you think you are stupid, then you will act like a stupid person. If you think you are pretty, let me use that, you will walk like a pretty person with your head held high. And if you think you are ugly, you will walk with your head bowed low because you don't have confidence in how you look. Let's reel it back. But what I am hinting at here is the world will treat you exactly how you tell it by how you perceive yourself. The world will treat you exactly how you let it, by the way you perceive yourself. Your self perception is so important, and especially as a child of God, I feel like that is the one thing the enemy tries to fight from us. He's gonna make you question who you are first of all, because when he can take up your identity captive, then he can do everything else. If I do not know that I am a child of God, then I do not believe that my life has purpose, then I do not believe that God has a greater plan for me, then I do not believe that I was put on this world to take up space. My mom has arrived. Hello, hello. Tuko na podcast eh? When I think about identity, one story that comes to mind is the Prodigal Son. I love that story so much. It's found in the book of Luke, I think chapter 15, verses 20 something thereabouts. And there are two brothers, two siblings. One of them takes up all his wealth and leaves to go to another country, while the older one remains back home. Years go by, and the small one is like completely broke. He's literally begging to eat with pigs at this point. He comes back home and he's very well received by the father, and they throw him a big party and all that. And the big brother doesn't like it. And to be honest, I 100% fully understand his reaction, because I feel like as a human, as Deborah, I would also act like that, because number one, you took up all your wealth, you asked for your inheritance, you left us cattle contact, you lived your life on the wild. Now when the money is finished, you're coming back and my father has the audacity to accept you back. That is what God does with us each and every time, by the way. Anyways, And the prodigal son, I love him because I feel like I relate to him so much. The prodigal son stayed, he obeyed, he did literally every single thing right, but he didn't feel celebrated because he never understood who he was to the father. Let that sink in, because I feel like most of the times we too are like the prodigal son. We don't feel loved, we don't feel seen, we don't feel celebrated by God because we do not understand who God is for us. One thing I love about God is his many names. When you call on Jehovah Rapha, he comes as a healer. When you call on Jehovah Jireh, he comes as provider. This is to say that he shows up as the name you call him. So when you call him father, you expect him to cover you the way a father covers his children, a good father. Let me add that because I know we have some not so good fathers out here. And the son did not understand who he was to the father, and that is why he felt like he had to put up a performance to be accepted or to be seen or to be celebrated. All he literally had to do was sit in his father's house and say, I know who I am my father's son, I also want a party. Or before even the brother came back, I want a party with my friends. It would have been done for him. And that has been very heavy with me lately because I came to realize that sometimes I act like the prodigal son, not understanding who I am to people and then complaining that they do not celebrate me. And I feel like we do that with God quite a lot. And it all comes from not knowing who we are, not knowing why we take up space, not knowing who we are. Honey, your identity, as soon as you claim your identity, everything in life kind of makes sense again. Not kind of, actually. Everything makes sense in life. When you stand firm on your identity, every single thing makes sense. I had a friend ask me once why I call myself the apple of God's eye. I explained it to them, but I won't plaster myself out there. But basically, it gave me the opportunity and the time to actually reflect more on that name. So it's not just something I call myself. And at the end of it all, I was more convinced that I have ever been that yes, I am truly the apple of God's eye. I was truly convinced that yes, God truly does love me. He truly takes care of me. He truly sees me. If I were to tell you to do one thing for the remainder of this year, is sitting down with yourself and asking yourself, who are you? When you remove your job title, when you remove your achievements, when you remove, all these things that we use to define other people on earth, who are you? Who are you left with? It's not easy, but it helps give us a sense of security when things stop going the way we want them to go, when we suddenly lose that title, when we suddenly don't have any more achievements to show, when we suddenly don't have a friend group to go to. Who are you in those lonely, dark moments? And one thing I really want you to know is that your existence in and of itself simply matters because you are. It simply matters because you exist. So if for nothing else, if someone asks you who you are, just tell them, well, I'm someone God so fit to put on this earth to exist and take up air. That's good enough. One thing I want you to stay with today is that we do not need to try harder. We do not need to work harder. We do not need to prove ourselves to anybody because our identity has never been up for debate. Our identity has never been up for debate. So the next time the enemy tries to whisper in your ears telling you you're worthless, tell him, you know what? Shut up. Do you know that audio that goes like, why are you talking outside of the club? You can't even get in. That's the enemy. He cannot even get into this club and he's trying to tell you who you are. Honey, we are not the same. We are not the same. So the next time you start having doubts about who you are, just remember, honey, that your identity was never up for debate. Even before you were born, you were chosen. You were an answered prayer to your parents, to your grandparents, to people you might never get to know. You, my dear, matter so much than you'll ever know. So anytime the devil tries to tell you otherwise, or even the world, just look them straight in the eyes and tell them, well, it's clear the limit of your thinking has been met. Because if you think that I am not worth it, then you, my dear, need to go back to school. That was so random, but I hope you get the point and you get the drift. So, yes, that's all I wanted to talk about when it comes to identity, because I genuinely believe that our identity is tied to our life. It is tied to how we view life, to how we view success, and to how we simply navigate the day to day life. So, move forward knowing that your identity has never been up for debate, that God has never stopped loving you, He has never stopped caring for you, He has never, ever, ever once told you to perform or to sleep like this for Him to love you more. He simply does, because you exist. Because, okay, let us all recite this before we leave. I am loved. I am chosen. I am redeemed. Those are words that you can find in the Bible, and the verse that comes to mind is Isaiah chapter 42, verses 1 to 6. I hope it's Isaiah 42. I really hope. But it's that one that says, even when you go through the waters, I will be with you, because I, the Lord, love you. Yeah, it literally says, I love you. But I feel like I'm rambling now, so we're going to cut it short. Thank you so much for tuning in. As you've seen, we are trying a video podcast for the very first time, and it's a bit exciting, but also, no, it's a bit scary, but very exciting. Very, very exciting concept. And yeah, if this resonated with you, kindly share it with someone you think might benefit from it as well. And let me know down in the comment section, who are you? Who are you? Let me know who you are. I want to meet you. I've already introduced myself. Hi, I am Debbie. I am the apple of God's eye. It's now your turn. And with that, I will see you in the next podcast. Bye.